I'm Steve Mann and this is Paper Classroom. Welcome to another one of our instructional videos. This particular video tutorial is in the science section, and today we're going to be talking about electron shells and subshells. In the previous video we talked very briefly about the shells, and we talked about the influence of electrons on the charge of the atom. What we said was, following on from the Bohr model of the atom, Rutherford said we had electrons whizzing around the outside in a very random fashion, going around the nucleus. Bohr said, no, it's not random. The electrons are in very, very specific paths that we will call shells. And we really stopped there, but now we're going to go deeper into it. If we look at any one of these shells, what we'll find is that it's made up of subshells or electron orbitals. So there are shells and there are subshells. And just like the shells have got names, so we had K, L, M, N, then the subshells also have designated letters S, P, D, and F. So we've found that there are rules by which the electrons fill these shells and subshells. They have to start in the K shell, and you can either have one or two maximum electrons in the K shell. Any more electrons, this is now full because it's got two, so three or more electrons would have to start filling the L shell. They're not allowed in any other shell until the L is completely full, which, as you can see, is 8. So once we've got 2 electrons in this shell, 8 electrons in that shell, we can start to fill the third shell. The third shell can hold possibly 18 electrons. And we can't fill the fourth shell, the N shell, until this one has all of its 18 electrons. Now, just like there are rules for filling the shells, there are rules for filling the subshells. So again, you must have at least 2 electrons in the S shell before you can start to fill the P. The first electron that comes cannot go anywhere else other than the S shell, must fill the S shell before the P. So first electron must go here, second electron must go here too. Third electron, you can start to fill the P suborbital, and you can't put electrons in the D until the P is full, and that will hold 6 electrons. You can't put electrons in the F orbital until the D is full, and the D will hold 10 electrons. And then there's a limit for this before you move into the next shell. So we talk about these SPDF orbitals. I've drawn them there just like, ring roads around a city. But in actual fact, the D orbitals have got very weird and wonderful shapes. The S orbital, for example, is actually a complete sphere. And what these shapes mean, it's the probability of an electron being within that volume. So the S orbital is a sphere, and there's a very good chance that the electron will be somewhere within that sphere. When you move along to the P orbitals, you find you've got these X, Y, Z axes. You've got these 2 shapes along the X-axis, 2 shapes on the Z, 2 shapes on the Y. The electrons can be somewhere within any one of those shapes. If there's 1, any 2 of those shapes, if there's 2, etc. When we get to the d orbitals, these are even stranger shapes. There are 5 of them. And with the f orbitals, I missed that one up there, there are actually 7 of them with all these very peculiar shapes. Now this is way beyond anything that we need in papermaking. I'm just letting you know that it's there in case you have any particular interest to investigate that, but it's not really relevant for the paper industry. We can manage with the old Bohr model of the atom at its simplest. So here we have the 4 shells, K, L, M and N. Within each of those we have the 4 subshells, S, P, D and F. And these are those rules that we've just been talking about. Now if we go through the first few elements, you'll see how this works. So hydrogen, atomic number 1, 1 proton, therefore 1 electron. So where does that electron go? Well, the rules say it must go in the K before the L, it must go in the L before the M, it must go in the M before, so it has to be somewhere in the K shell. And then if we look to subshells, it can't be in the F until the D is full, it can't be in the D until the P is full, it can't be in the P until the S is full. So the very first electron, or the only electron that hydrogen has, it will go there. Moving up in the periodic table now, element number 2, atomic number 2 is helium. Helium has 2 protons, therefore 2 electrons. 1 electron is already here. Where does the second electron go? Also in the S shell. Now then, it says here you can have a maximum of 2 electrons in the K shell, no more. So when we come along to element number 3, lithium, atomic number 3, 3 protons, 3 electrons, it cannot go in the K shell because K has a maximum of 2. So we have to move into the L shell now. Again, it starts at the S level. Now if we move up to element number 4, beryllium, atomic number 4, 4 protons, 4 electrons. Where will the 4th electron go? It will go here. This S is now full, so any more electrons will have to start going into the P. So element number 5, boron, atomic number 5, 5 protons, 5 electrons. Where does the 5th electron go? There, in the P orbital. Similarly, carbon, atomic number 6, 6 protons, 6 electrons. The next electron will go there. Nitrogen, atomic number 7, 7 protons, 7 electrons. The 7th electron will go here. Oxygen, along the same logic, 8 electrons. The 8th electron will go here. Element number 9, fluorine, 9 electrons. It will go here. And finally, element number 10, neon, 10 electrons. The electron will go there. This P orbital is now full. P can only have a maximum of 6. So any more electrons you would think might go into the d orbital. But the rule is in L we're only allowed a maximum of 8 electrons, and there are 8 electrons there. So the next electron will have to start again in the M shell. So there it goes. Sodium, 11 electrons it will there. And then I won't go through any more, but as you continue, the 12th will go here, then you'll fill another 6 here, and then you'll start to fill D, where you've got a maximum of 10. Once this is full, you then start to move into the N orbital, and everything repeats. So I hope that makes complete sense to you. The rules are quite simple. There we've got magnesium and aluminium just to show you. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made sense. Please give me any feedback and enjoy watching our other videos.